guys. Things are a little bit different. Welcome back to our channel after how long?
Seven weeks.
7 weeks? Because she's 5 weeks now, and can't believe it's been so long since we've been on here. We're so happy, and wow, we're at 1,000 subscribers.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in and being patient with us and allowing us to, settle into parenthood and just be happy with this little one. I'm currently carrying her right now because she will not settle, and we're gonna do like a little mukbang situation, eat and talk about our labor and delivery story. Well, my labor and delivery story and his witnessing of it all. Because I don't think I remember everything. Like, I have such bad memory, so he's gonna help me out with the details and stuff, and like let you guys know how I actually was.
Just to let you know, guys, right? We've been trying to film this for over 2-3 hours, and the same thing happened last week.
Let's welcome baby girl to YouTube. Hi, baby girl. Welcome to YouTube.
We will be releasing another video for revealing our baby girl's name. So stay tuned for that. So what did you order?
I ordered red Thai curry.
Did you?
Sorry, no. This is why I need him. My brain is just like fog. Penang? No.
No.
What did I order? Okay, well, I got a curry, Thai curry.
She doesn't even know what she's ordered. That's the most funniest thing.
I swear, postpartum.
I just can't say the word.
Postpartum brain is just on a whole nother level.
I ordered the red Thai curry. That's my usual every time I go to a Thai place. Red Thai curry.
Yeah, so let me just start with, I'm not putting the food together. I'm gonna start with my labor. So baby girl was born on September 10, 2021 at 4:16 a.m. She came into the world. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with how labor started. So I was 40 weeks and 4 days, and I thought I was gonna go until the end, 42 weeks.
You had a membrane.
I love how we have a pacifier on the table.
You had that suite booked in on a Saturday, but on Thursday that week, you felt like she wasn't moving much.
Yeah.
And then, but your contraction started at the same, while you was phoning them to tell them that you want to come in.
Yeah.
Your contraction started.
Right.
So, what happened was, I remember actually, funny enough, I was in a meeting and it was 2 o'clock to 2:30, around that time. I remember my system went down for my day job, and we were all team members there trying to fix the system, and the man just comes in and is like, "We need to go to hospital." I think my contraction started, so that's how we started.
Okay.
So you had an appointment. We didn't have no appointment. We had no appointment that day.
No?
100%, we had no appointment that day. You called just to say because you was worried about the movements and you wanted to come in to check the baby.
Mm-hmm.
But we had no appointment.
Mm-hmm. Why did I think I had an appointment? I don't know. It's weird. I don't know either. Anyways, so what I started feeling was period pains. I'm like, oh, I had this a little bit earlier in the week. It's fine. It's nothing. Mm-hmm. But immediately, I noticed that there was a pattern. And I started timing it on a contraction timer.
Mm-hmm.
And it was coming in every 2.5, 3.5 minutes sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And then it started becoming so much more regular. And the app started saying, okay, get ready to go to the hospital. And then at certain times it said, okay, now it's time to go to the hospital. And that's when I knew, I just felt like I knew I had to go, and I knew it was happening that day. And I was on the phone with my mom, FaceTiming her, and she's like, yep, you're ready. And Matt was getting off his phone call with his colleagues, and it was just crazy. Thank God we had all our bags packed.
Mm-hmm. My bag was full of Iman snacks. I think I took my iPad and 2 chargers, and I took and I took 2 spare clothes. Luckily, what happened was, um, so while we was going to the hospital, it was quite heavy traffic. Because by the time we left, it was like 2:45 ish, and that's like everyone's on the way to go pick up their kids. So we kind of got the school rush, right? And she's just, using the timers, calculating, and
Yeah. Contractions in the car.
yeah. And I'm just driving. I'm just like, oh crap, crap, crap! I need to go. And where's this traffic coming from? And luckily we got there. But right, check this out. Weather was perfect when we left the house. As soon as we got to the hospital, right there, the way to get it to the the maternity ward, that was blocked because of roadworks. They were doing some roadworks. They were doing some construction or something like that. And I was talking to the security guy. I was like, listen, my wife's she's in labor pains, or she's getting the contractions. I need to drop her off at least. Let me drop her off. He's like, no, can't let you go. So I was like, okay, cool. So we parked like, I would say about 15 minutes walk with Iman, with the big belly. But I would say about 5 minutes, if that, for a normal person. But that's the distance that we travelled. And as soon as we parked, got out of the car, it started pouring rain, like literally pouring.
Just our luck, really.
And like both of us
we're drenched.
I promise you, if you took our clothes off and you
wrung it out,
the water will be pouring out. That's how heavy it was. We were so unlucky. I don't know what happened.
And imagine being in pain and then feeling just wet and cold. It was the worst, like the worst feeling.
I picked up the Iman's handbag. That's all I picked up. I didn't bring any of the hospital bags. My main concern was get to the hospital, deal with the rest later. We got to the hospital, go to the maternity ward. They separated us straight away.
Yeah, which was so... I can't imagine, like, all these women who had to give birth without their partners. The only thing, we were only separated for the time we had to take our COVID tests. So I had a COVID test first, and then they had to monitor me for like an hour by myself while he got his COVID test. So there was a lineup to do that.
Yeah, but the time frame was literally, we got there around, I'd say about 3:00, 3:15. To the hospital, I'd say about 3:15, 3:30 makes more sense actually. Yeah. They took her to the ward. There was no beds. That's the reason why they separated us, kind of. So Iman needed a bed first, and she needed to get COVID tested. But before she got COVID tested, she needed a bed. By this point, we're both separated. I'm in the waiting area, and she's in the ward. I think it was like, by the time I think I got in, it was like, 6:00?
Was it?
Yeah, about 6:00, 5:00, 6:00, around that time.
Wow. So I was contracting by myself in like, it was a room full of other women, and everyone had like one small bed to themselves with curtains covering. And this is where like they came to monitor your baby and see if the baby's okay. So the baby was fine, and she was moving completely healthy, and she was like healthy and well. But during the time I was contracting, I remember like I was hearing the other women in the same room. They were moaning from pain, like they're also contracting too. And I was thinking, oh my God, it's actually really annoying hearing someone else moaning in pain. And then I just remember like while I was in my own like little area, I remember that I started moaning too from the pain, and I started thinking in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I'm that woman that's also moaning, and someone else probably thinking how annoying my sounds are. So it's like, even though I was in so much pain, I was still thinking about like how embarrassing I am. It was so funny. Even though you're not supposed to be embarrassed, like you can make as many sounds as you want, and Like you're
Yeah, no one cares about at that point.
yeah.
By the time I got in, everyone was moaning. I was like, what's going on, bro? You just gotta do what you have to do.
Yeah.
But before I got into the ward, of course, I'm just sitting there, just reading my manga, and then reading up on the news. But at the same time, I was kind of worried about Iman in the sense of we didn't eat that day. Like,
oh yeah, no food.
we had no food that day. I was extremely busy with work, and I said to him, like, can you, like, do something? Because my system went down around, I'd say about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and since then we was like trying to work out what's wrong with it. Yeah. So I was like thinking, crap, she's wet, I'm wet, I can feel the wetness of I was wearing a hoodie that time. Like, I can't imagine what she's going through, and she's really hungry, and obviously she was heavily pregnant at that time. So, I went into the ward somehow, asked the nurse, listen, can I give her, oh, my battery's dying, the ward, and I asked the nurse, can I drop her some clothes at least and drop her snacks? They said, yeah, go ahead. And that's it. Literally went to the car, grabbed the stuff. Luckily, I bought my clothes, so I changed my jumper, my shirt there and then. Got her bags, went to the ward, and then realised I left my car open.
Did
Imagine, yeah, did I not tell you?
No.
Realised I left my car open, like my app was telling me your car's unlocked. So I went to the nurse, I was like, here's the stuff, I'll be right back. I know that I need to do a COVID test. And that's it. So I went to lock the car, came back, and did my COVID test. I did one of them rapid fire ones, is it? Rapid fire one. Up the nose, up the mouth. Yeah, that's it. And then took me about, I think it was like 5:30. No, it was about 6ish. I remember.
That you came in?
I came in, yeah.
And I was not looking at the time. I was just sitting there, like, rocking myself to...
Yeah, this is it, man. Like... Ooh.
Hey!
Ooh. I was like, what the hell is going on? And then as I was coming in, right, literally, the maternity ward is like, no offense to all those beautiful mums out there, it was like war. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, seriously, as I went in, right, I see another couple. The guy was like obviously helping his wife out. She was making these weird noises as well. Like, I understand. I completely understand. Like, you do what you have to do to get through
it.
To get through it, right? As long as you're breathing. And she was just making these weird noises. Like, what is going on? Like. And she was going to the toilet. She was making some weird ass noises.
Actually,
and then,
yeah, I heard that noise. She was making a weird noise. I'm not gonna lie.
It's like 2 Asian couples. That's all I know. And then I went to Iman, and then Iman's like, ooh, ooh. And then it went, like, and it stopped. Like, she was having your contractions every 3 minutes-ish, 4 minutes.
No. I think every 2.5 minutes.
Something like that.
At that point.
Went in. She's like, I need you to take me to the bathroom. As soon as the contraction stopped, went into the bathroom. But she said, be prepared. I was like, I'm here for you. We got up, literally took like 2 steps or 3 steps. Your contraction started again.
Yeah, like my contractions were so much worse when I was walking around. If I either lied down or if I was walking, my contraction just felt so much more worse. And so what I was doing was I was sitting on the edge of the hospital bed for hours, and I was rocking myself back and forth. It was just so crazy, that feeling. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I couldn't move in the way that I wanted to relax. Like, I just stayed in the position where I felt most comfortable, and it was just sitting on the edge, my butt at the edge of the seat, and that's how I was doing that. And then I was kind of like leaning on his shoulder, and like that's how it was.
Yeah, so that was literally it. And it was like that till I'd say about 1 o'clock in the morning. Contractions happening every 2-3 minutes. you're like making these sounds, and I'm like just obviously being with her and asking her, like telling her to like remember to breathe. And you know, in between the nurses coming in, I'm like asking the nurses like, what's the plan? What's happening now? Like, what are we doing? Like, is she just gonna be like this? What's gonna happen? And the nurse just said like, we're just waiting for the doctors to come. They need to do the checks. And then the first check.
No doctors. There's no doctors. It was midwife led.
Was it?
Yep. No doctors.
Okay, midwife then. So the first midwife, I remember this, came between 9 to 9:30. It was roughly that time because I remember speaking to your mum. She asking for an update, and they said like they're sending someone soon. I remember it was like between 9 and 9:30.
Yeah.
They checked you then. How many millimeters was you?
Millimeters.
Or whatever.
Centimeters.
Okay. That's not like. Sorry guys, it's been like really tiring today. Tiring yesterday as well. But yeah, how many?
4 centimeters.
How much were you diluted?
Diluted.
Is it diluted?
Dilated.
Dilated. I don't know. I give up.
Millimeters and diluted. It's centimeters.
Well, technically, centimeters and millimeters work. You just need to like, if it was.
I know.
You was all I remember. It was 3. 3 at no, was it 3?
Oh yeah, 3.
It was 3. Yeah, 3 at 9, between 9 to 9 p.m. Whether it's centimeters, millimeters,
9 to 9:30.
It was like what 3 or 300, whatever. Anyway, I went to speak to the midwife privately, and I was asking her what's the plan is, and she replied back saying that it's most likely going to happen in the morning, early mornings. You just have to wait it out. And I'm like, in the back of my head, it's like, crap, like, I don't mind waiting, but I don't want a man to hear this and make her think like, I've got another 5 hours to go through this pain. So I was trying to be as supportive as possible. Luckily...
They gave me...
They gave you codeine.
Yeah, they gave me codeine and paracetamol.
They first gave you paracetamol. And then
No, together.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Okay.
And then they checked me, and I was finally at what? 4 centimeters. Right?
That was at 1 o'clock.
Right.
At 1 o'clock, they came back. And then they check again, and then it was 4 centimeters. I was like, so what? From 9 till 1, which is what? 4 hours. She only did 1 centimeter. And she needs to be 10 centimeters before the delivery happens. I'm like thinking on the back of my head is like, what, 4 centimeters, 1? And I was like, what, she's got another 6 left, so 6 times 4, 20 hours. I'm like, 20 hours. I was going ballistic. I was like, what is going on? Like, obviously in my head, I wasn't like being like this. At 2 o'clock, the midwife came and said like, was it 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock?
I don't know about timings.
It was between, let's say between 2 to 3. No, actually it was 2 o'clock. It was 2 o'clock. Yeah, it was 2 o'clock. The midwife came and they said, we're going to take you to the delivery suite.
Yeah.
Do you want to say this part?
Yeah, so I was really excited to get my own room finally. I can like, when you're in your own room, you feel like you can do anything that you want. All the sounds, all the noises, whatever. So I was so excited. And I was ready to leave that room.
Mm-hmm.
Grabbing all the stuff, I turned to Ahmad and the midwife and I said, listen, I know if I start walking, I'm going to have a major contraction. Like, I just know it's going to be really bad. She's like, yeah, that's normal. When you have a contraction, it helps your labor come along faster. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, well, if it happens, I need to stop. And it like stop in the middle of the hallway. And she's
at this point, let me just tell you, sorry. At this point,
yeah.
It was literally, I would say about...
Well, 2 she came.
About 20 to 30 meters that we were walking.
Oh yeah, it was like nothing.
It was nothing, right? But it took us like a good 15 minutes to get to the room. But do you want to say this part?
Yeah. So basically, we get into the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, we get into outside of outside of my bed, I had a contraction. It was intense and horrible. Then we went across the hall into the other hallway. And again, I had another contraction and I had to stop, and it was really, really bad. So it was 2 contractions in the hallways. Then we get to my room finally, and I meet my other midwife. Midwife comes up to me and she says, listen, this is midwife led. You don't need a doctor unless you want to get an epidural. If you do, we're going to have to move you to the other room. And I'm like, at that point, I was like, yes, I want an epidural. And she's like, here, change into your robe. I want you to know that if you get an epidural, it's going to take an hour and a half to administer it and let them know that you want to take it and all that stuff. So by that time, you might be giving a baby. I'm like, no, I want an epidural. Okay. And while that's happening, I'm changing into the hospital robe. So I'm like taking off my clothes. And then all of a sudden, splash, my water breaks.
And I'm just there like making sure everything's all right, like helping her like change her clothes.
You're setting up the room.
Setting up the room.
With the bags and stuff.
And then, yeah, she's like, my water broke. And I'm like...
It was a gush. It was
I literally
like
looked down, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a big gush, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't, like in the movies, like that's what it actually happens.
Yeah,
you know?
It was literally as if, let's just say...
It was a waterfall. It was not like, oh, I trickled and peed. No, it was like, whoosh.
Yeah, it was literally like finished.
And it kept coming.
But the puddle was like, as if someone has peed. But yeah, it was literally like that. And just to make it clear, the reason why it took us so long to get to the delivery suite is because, 1, because of the contractions, and 2, whenever a contraction happened, Iman couldn't move at all. Like, at all. She was on me, leaning on me. No. Like...
Yeah.
Yeah. Her weight was on me. So we had to take our time, you know. And then, yeah.
Yeah, so, so my water broke. And it was like on my pants and in my shoes, and it was just like, it was disgusting. And so
more on your pants than shoes, but
yeah. Yeah, there was a little bit on my shoes.
Yeah. Which one do you want? This one? That one?
No, keep eating.
No, let me fill up your box.
Phase.
You right with that?
Yeah, my back is hurting me a little bit, but it's okay.
Make your back straight.
Oh my god, what a difference.
I'm normally using the baby carrier, but Emmanuel took today, so I was like, okay, good luck.
Okay, so at this point, the midwife was like, listen, I'm looking at your water right now, and it looks like your baby has passed some poop inside, so we cannot stay in the midwife-led unit. We're gonna have to go to the area where the doctors can be there if anything happens. I'm like, oh no. I didn't know what that meant so much at the time, but I was like, here, I'm just gonna follow whatever the midwife tells me to do. So I had to put my robe on and walk across the hallway again to another room, which wasn't too far. And I was contracting the whole time. And when your water breaks, your contractions get even worse. And finally get to the other room, and the midwife that was there with me in the beginning, she stuck there. She stuck with me as well.
Yeah, throughout the whole process.
Throughout the whole process.
She did it on her own, which is amazing.
Yeah,
with a little bit of help.
She was so nice. She was really nice and very like, she was like a coach. She coached me through the whole thing, told me when to breathe, and she offered me something I did not want to take, but she offered me gas and air. Okay. And I'm the type where like, I don't want to take, I heard that gas and air makes you feel like woozy, and it might make you feel nauseous. And like, I don't like that feeling nauseous. So I was like, I'm not gonna take anything that's gonna make me feel that way. I was like open to the epidural at that time because I knew it wasn't gonna make me feel like I was nauseous or anything.
By the way, guys, we did not plan to take the epidural.
Right, it wasn't part of the plan, but at that point I was like, I want it.
Like, before,
and there's nothing wrong with taking epidural.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with epidural for those who want to take it or have taken it. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But for me, or like before the whole process started, I was trying to persuade Iman not to take the epidural, only because of seeing people close to me that have taken the epidural and suffered from it, and I didn't want that to happen to Iman, and I knew Iman very well, and I was like, you can take the pain. I promise you, you can do it. And when we got to the delivery suite, the first room, when she said she wanted to take it, in my back of my head, I was like giving up. But at the same time, I had to be like
supportive,
be that supportive husband. And what I said, like, if you really want to take it, I trust you, take it. But what happened is when we got to the room, to the second room, where the delivery actually happened,
she's like, honey, you're 10 centimeters. We gotta start pushing.
I was extremely shocked. I was like, wait, what? At 1 o'clock, he was telling me at 4 centimeters. Now, at 9 o'clock, he told me she's 3 centimeters. At 1 o'clock, he told me she's 4 centimeters. Now you're telling me at 3 o'clock, she's 10 centimeters. I was like, gas. I was like, let's go. Let's do this. And as a Muslim, for all you guys out there, like, if you don't know, we're Muslim, anyway, if it wasn't bait enough, I was like thinking, wait, it's Friday, Jummah, what a blessed day to have a baby. That's all I was thinking. I was like, it can't go wrong. It can't go wrong. We are so lucky to have a baby on Jummah. There's nothing that we can go wrong. Like, we've got God in our hands. And the midwife said it's too late to have epidural. You're 10 centimeters.
Yeah.
You can only take it when you're 8, I believe. Is it 8? 8 or 7?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. And she was way too late to take it. And and the midwife's like, here's the gas in there. Try this. Let's see if it works. And my back of my head was, I wanted her to take the gas in there. I even remember telling you, take the gas in there, see what happens. I'm sure you can do it. And it happened as I wanted. She did the gas in there. She loved the gas in there, even though she thought that she was going to hate it. She loved it. She was actually finding any and every excuse just to take the gas in there. And she did it literally. We started the whole process around, I think it was like 3:30, 3:45, something like that. Obviously the midwife had to get things ready and like for the birth, around about 3:45 ish, and then baby's coming out. I was so gassed. I was like, whoa, what's going on? Like, she's taking the gas in there. She's like, and she was loving it. Like, and then I remember the midwife saying, whenever there's a contraction happening, push with the contraction. Don't open your mouth when you push. Like, don't scream.
Yeah, so, well, I wasn't allowed to take the gas in there while I was pushing.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But anyways, the gas in air doesn't take away the pain. It just helps you breathe, and it takes you, for about like a couple seconds, it takes you like further away from the pain. Like, you feel like you're a little out of the world, and then you can come back in those couple seconds. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it just makes you feel... So I definitely recommend the gas and air, guys. Go take it.
Do you know what? Funny enough, right? One of my mates, I was telling her this during this. Like, one of my mates, actually, brother, who was playing football, and he hurt his leg, or something happened to his leg. Ambulance came. They gave him the gas in it, and he loved it as well. And I was telling her this. I was like, I guarantee you're gonna love it as well. And she did. And you actually gave birth without any epidural.
Yep.
Without any other types of medication.
Mm-hmm.
Just did the gas in there. And it was a perfect delivery. Right?
Mm-hmm. So, I think I had to push about like 4 or 5 times. And every time feeling that ring of fire, like that ring of fire is so real.
Mm.
I felt like Game of Thrones situation. Like, it felt so crazy. It's such a crazy feeling. I don't know how to explain it. I wish I could explain it to you. Like,
and I'm just there like, I'm telling her to breathe. And then looking the other way, I'm like, oh no, man, there it is, there it is. And I'm like, breathe, breathe, breathe. Like obviously when you're pushing, you're like in the zone. You're like, but you was actually holding your breath for like a while. Like let's say about 45 seconds. Like that's how long she was. Like it was getting longer and longer. And it was like 45 seconds, and it was like a minute. I'm like, all right, breathe. Like, you was going for a while when you was pushing, and I'm just there like looking to the side. I'm like, oh my god, there it is. It's happening. And yeah, it was actually crazy. I'm not gonna go too details, but
my husband here decided that he wanted to he had the my husband wanted to film it. He's like, should I film it? The midwife was like,
no, not the labor process, like the after when the baby was out.
Oh, I thought you wanted to film.
No, when the baby came out, that's when she was like getting ready for the stitches and all that. That's when I started wanting to film it.
Oh.
But yeah.
Well, now that you've mentioned stitches, they were such minor, small stitches, and it was 3 of them, and it was just like 1,000 people coming in with my legs completely spread open, and people just coming in and out.
I was actually worried at some point, especially watching the woman that was pregnant at the end, and she collapsed.
Yeah.
I was actually worried that might happen to you. When I saw the pile of blood, there was a lot of blood.
I lost like 400. How much? 400
something like
milliliters?
That. Something like that. And it was the amount of blood I saw. I was like, whoa, that is a lot. And I was actually worried. But then I looked over and he was like completely fine.
Yeah.
But I was still like, my concerns didn't stop until you were stitched up. Like I was like on the fence.
Yeah, the bleeding was coming from the stitches, from the places where I needed to be stitched up.
Yeah, yeah.
And obviously from that area too. But anyways, honestly, the best part of it all was when she finally came out and she put her on me. It wasn't skin to skin right away. I had the robe on, so it was like right on the robe, and which kind of sucked. But it was such a surreal feeling and moment. I was still like on a different like. I was still thinking about how like the stitches were not done, and I was like feeling like I was very exposed, and like it was hurting me at that point, and I wasn't thinking about like the baby right away. But Imaz looked at me and he just said to me, "Thank you." He was the happiest person ever, and it was the sweetest thing to ever like hear him and see him say that. It was so cute. Like he was thanking me for giving him a child.
Yeah, I was so like, I was over the moon. Like I was like, my hand to my head. I'm like, oh my god, I'm a father. Like I'm so gassed. Like I nearly bust tears, but at the same time, I was trying to keep composure for you.
I didn't cry. I actually did not cry.
Yeah, do you know what? No one like. I didn't even catch the baby crying. Remember?
Oh yeah, the baby wasn't crying, no?
The baby just went, "Mwah," and apparently that's what happened. I asked the midwife, like, wait, is it normal for the baby not to cry? She's like, she already cried. I'm like, but I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
I was right next to it, like next to her. I'm like, I didn't hear anything. I know she cried. It was so quick. And as soon as she was in your lap, she had her eyes open, looking at me, looking at mother.
Yeah, her eyes were so open. It was so cute.
It was so beautiful. And I was like, oh my God, alhamdulillah, she's going to be a good baby, blah, blah, blah. Oh, 5 weeks later.
5 weeks later.
But, no, but yeah, and it was such an amazing experience.
I couldn't believe I was able to get through it without epidural. Like,
yeah.
You just don't know how strong you are until you're actually in it, and you're not given a choice at that. I wasn't like the choice of getting an epidural was gone. You know, I couldn't take it, and I was able to get through it. And the great thing was that the midwife said to me, and she kept saying this over and over again. She said that I did very, very well, and that I was like one of her best patients. And she is so proud of how I was being coached and how I was able to breathe through it all. She's like, the fact that you didn't go on that much medication, you barely needed anything. Like, she was so proud of me, and she was telling me I'm about to go get me a car for everything I've done.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, you best give her a push pressure. And I'm like, okay. Well, she's like, yeah. She's like, get in the car, right? I'm like, car? Like, yeah, car. It's like, okay.
Range
like,
Rover.
No, first it started off as an Audi, right? It first started with an Audi, and I'm like, you best get an Audi, right? And I'm like, okay. He's like, so is this your first child? It's like, yeah, this is our first child. Are you guys planning to have more? Like, I'm hoping to have 3. Like, not 3 more, but 2 more, basically, at that point. And then Iman's like, I might have 1 more. I'm like, well, if he wants 2 more, he best get that Range Rover ready. And I'm like, oh, crap. I'm like...
Yeah, she was awesome. If she ever sees us on here,
hi, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for everything you've done for us.
Yeah, and it was, yeah, and as I was saying, it's a wonderful experience. I really hope that everyone, out there experience it, and whoever said like the best moment is seeing your first child. It actually is. It is amazing to see, seeing your first child give life, take the first breath. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I wouldn't even take a single moment back. Like, yeah, top moment.
But pregnancy sucks. Labor sucks. But I promise you guys, having her in your arms is the best feeling in the whole entire world. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just it becomes worth it.
Yeah, it does.
All of it becomes worth it. Like, it's the end that, for me, like, for all those women who love pregnancy, good for you. But for me, I don't enjoy pregnancy that much. It's having her in my arms that doesn't beat pregnancy. Sorry, that beats pregnancy.
Yeah, each to their own. I heard stories where people were like, they're missing their pregnancy bump.
Oh yeah, some people felt like they were missing their pregnancy bump. I did not miss my pregnancy bump whatsoever. Yeah. I didn't feel like I was missing anything there. Like, I felt like, no, I want my belly to go flat again, and I'm just so happy she's in my arms instead. Yeah. Yeah, so that's how I felt. Yeah.
So that was the labor. I know some of you guys were probably thinking, right, show us, baby girl. And
you guys can see her a little bit.
Yeah, you can see her a little bit.
We're not completely hiding her, I promise. It's just as of right now, we just don't feel that comfortable completely showing her off right now. So
yeah, we made this decision as a couple to like keep her in our own bubble for a bit.
For a bit, we like our bubbles sometimes, and
yeah,
you never know if that changes. But as of right now,
of right now, we just want to keep her to herself for a bit, enjoy her company. I'm sure a special moment will come. We will be revealing her name very soon, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified when we release that video. But yeah,
you're saying the ending while I'm eating a pronto.
So Iman had to tend to our baby girl's needs. She had to drop off. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified for future videos. It's kind of weird like ending it without Iman, so just gonna go ahead. Bye guys.